Welcome to the Wildspire Conversations podcast. You get to be a fly on the wall for my intimate coaching sessions with inspiring entrepreneurs who are changing the world. I'm your host, Stephanie Benedetto Padovani, wild creation coach and soul storyteller at The Awakened Business, where I help coaches, therapists, and creative entrepreneurs craft an irresistible message and broadcast it to the world. In each conversation, I'll ask curious, playful questions, challenging us to connect with the deeper purpose and joy of what we're here to do. We may experience one or more of the following: articulation of their soul's message and mission, life-changing stories, insights, ahas, and wisdom nuggets, ideas for new products, services, or businesses. Truth is, I have no idea exactly what will emerge, because there's no agenda for this conversation. Anything can happen when we step into the unknown of infinite creativity, and that's where we're going to play. It's time to get wild-spired. My guest today is Natalie Ross of Earthspeak. Natalie Ross loves helping people connect to their intuition and the earth. Through her podcasts, online community, and courses, Natalie has helped thousands of people feel less alone in their spiritual journeys, to remember their deeper truths, and to value themselves as sensitive, intuitive beings. She most recently co-founded the Earthspeak Collective, a community to help people learn to hear and trust their intuition and activate their earth magic. Natalie believes that tending to your energetic wellness and awakening your intuition is the foundation for stepping into your purpose and moving towards greater harmony for all life on Earth. You can listen to the Earthspeak podcast through any podcast app, and you can learn more about the collective at earthspeak.love. This was a delightful conversation, as always, with Natalie. We first met through a coaching relationship, and she has since become a very dear friend of mine. And I think you'll have an experience of why in this conversation. She just brings such vulnerability and realness and such a willingness to be with whatever might arise. This is what I really delight in. One of the many things I delight in the most in her and connection with her. She also does this for her community. It's a really beautiful way to model a safe space where people can express themselves. So because she does that, it lets us go really rather deep, rather quickly. We also have that rapport. So this is an interesting experience. I never know where we're going to go. And we actually end up doing a lot of talk with Natalie's body in answering questions about her business. So if you've never experienced anything like that and how those things can go together, this will be a really interesting exploration for you. So let me introduce you to Natalie. Natalie, my love, the amazing. I'm so glad you're here with me today. Thank you for joining me for this adventure.
I'm honored. Thank you for inviting me, and I can't wait to see what happens.
Me too. And that is a great way for us to begin, because this is an adventure, and especially with the two of us being the way that we are, that I don't know where we'll end up going. So what comes up for you in this moment, Natalie? Like, if we could create something amazing, extraordinary, of any type in this conversation today, what would it be?
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to go totally selfish here with what I'm going through in my business right now.
Yes, do. I so embrace and endorse selfishness. We need more of it. I really mean that. I think that the more indulgent we get with pursuing our own joys, the better it is for the world. You can't be too selfish in that sense.
Yeah.
I'll get off of my soapbox.
I love it though. I mean, I feel the same way. And right now I'm having a real dilemma because over the past year in my business, I've answered the call. This was really a calling I felt. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to do this just to profit. It was more like a co-creative call with the universe to have a space, to create a space where people who are energetically sensitive and who are attuned to nature and to spirit and to the earth and to intuition could come together and do some simple practices every week to get grounded, to get clear, and to connect with each other and have a safe space to just talk about the weird stuff that comes up. And sometimes we talk about really weird stuff that's like, you know, like feeling like energies attached to us that are like not healthy or good, and like, what is that? And talking, which people might call entities, or sometimes we talk about manifesting and rituals and things like that, and like just how do we hear and plant speaking and just things that we don't talk about in everyday society, things that are like totally have been invalidated purposefully over the past thousands of years, like witches were burned for this stuff. So I felt the call to create a space where we could come together like this. And so last year, 1 year ago, I opened up a beta test of it. It was actually right after we finished our flow course. I was like, okay, in the flow course that we did together, where we helped people put together an offer and test it, they essentially, that was a really awesome course, by the way. Then what I did in that course, because we both did it too on our own, and in that course, that what I did was I put together an offer to beta test this group, which is still running. And beta test went great. We actually, so the way that it actually looks.
So this is your collective?
This is our collective.
Okay.
Yep. So now it's become, it wasn't a collective yet. It was just totally like a little beta test. I sold it as a course with a 3-month integration period. And what it was weekly calls. Like we get on Zoom. Everybody who's a member gets on Zoom. Well, not everybody, because not everyone shows up, but the members get on Zoom. And we have a live like video hangout face-to-face, and every week. So we know each other. We know each other's names. We know each other's faces. We know certain things about where we've been, where we're going, what we're struggling with, what we're doing, what's happening. We've become, over the past year, an actual community. And I've kept this thing kind of in beta tests for a year. I haven't really like promoted it much or launched it or anything big like that. I've just kind of like kept it like, okay, if you find how to get in, you're in, but I'm not like broadcasting it, So it's still very intimate. And we've reached the point where I'm like, okay, we've beta tested it. It freaking works. Like, I love this community. This is a highlight of my week. It's a highlight of our members' weeks. It's created a space for us to really come back to our centers and connect and reflect and witness and be witnessed. And it's amazing. But now at this point, I'm like, okay, it doesn't pay the bills. There's two things at odds with each other. It's an intimate space, and part of what makes it work is that it's an intimate space. But I don't know how to scale it without losing that intimacy. And I feel like so much of what I've created in this space is power with, because we all have this power with each other. And I feel like if I were to just say, okay, now I'm just going to open it up and start promoting it and like have ads and like grow it and welcome in people, that would be more like power over this community. And it just doesn't feel right. It feels like these two things are at odds with each other, but it's time to grow. I want to grow it. It needs to grow if I can continue to do this as a path to a livelihood. And I don't know if this holding community is really able to come together in an intimate way with having a livelihood and getting paid for it. So I'm really at a crossroads where I'm like, I don't know what to do.
Okay. So would you like to explore that and just see what we see?
Yeah.
And around, like, let me articulate it then. So how do you grow this collective in a way that maintains this beautiful space and community and the intimacy that you have and this idea of power with? How do you grow that and scale it and actually make money with it?
Yep.
Without losing the essence of what's made it so amazing for everyone?
Exactly.
Okay. So tell me a little bit more. You said something about, and I didn't catch it quite, but it feels like opening it up would be moving to a power over instead of a power with. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So I really feel like part of this whole experience and part of what, let's see, power over versus power with. So it's in a way like, I guess me and my co-founder Shauna are the leaders and kind of in charge of the community, but but it feels wrong. It doesn't feel like, it feels authoritarian, and it feels kind of old paradigm patriarchal to just be like, this is what we want to do and this is what we're doing, and just be like that kind of top-down leader in a way. And I would rather be like with the community in the, instead of that pyramid with us at the top. I would rather it be us in a circle with our community, because this is a place that we all value and created together.
So is it that it seems as if you and Shauna decide, we're opening this up, guys, suck it up if you don't like it, then you're losing that circle community feel that you have.
Yep.
So have you talked about this? Like, we want to expand this, people, beta members. What do you think? Like, how can we get this message to, like, what's been coming up? Have you talked about that with people?
We just started having town halls. So in addition to our weekly calls, we have a once a month call where anyone who's interested in the planning of what we're going to do in our community can come and have a voice in that. And that feels very powerful too. You know, I feel like I've just created this space and I've, you know, welcomed people, and now we're a thing. We're all greater than the sum of the parts. And we've come together and we discuss all kinds of things. But one of the topics we discussed, this was actually just last night, one of the topics we discussed was how to keep it intimate as we grow. And, you know, I could tell that there was some concern about losing that intimacy, because even as we have, you know, on any one call, we have like maybe 12 people. And that seems to be about it's very intimate. And it's only a $33 a month thing. And it's like, for this kind of intimacy, it should be priced much higher. So a suggestion I had was to price it higher. And there was some pushback about that of like, well, that really excludes a lot of people, that, you know, it makes it only available to a certain type of person. And it really kind of loses that kind of accessibility. And that's a thing that we do value. You know, we want to be accessible. And that's part of why we priced it at $33 a month. And another idea we had was that we could actually train facilitators and just have multiple calls per week. And I don't think we can cap it at 12. Like, realistically, I think we're going to have to be able to cap it more at like 20 or 25 or 30 per call. And we might have to lose a little bit of the airtime each person can get. But I think,
So summarize for me, Natalie, what came out of it? There's a concern that your members, your founding members, have about intimacy. Now this is going to happen, I think, whenever we've got something amazing and we want to change it. It's like, you know, there's that, and it's our mind going into the scarcity thinking. We can think about what we can lose. We don't know what we're going to gain. Right? So that's one piece that's coming out of it. Then there's, like you said, if we want to keep it intimate, we kind of need to make this profitable, so we could increase the price. And they're like, I don't like that either, right? Also get that. And you have a value around accessibility to make it accessible for people. So there are a couple issues coming up in here. And then this idea of you could have keep the small intimate groups and the pricing with other facilitators, but then it becomes more complicated, right? So there are then
it's way more complicated.
Right. So what else? Anything else any ideas come out of this just yet?
I mean, one idea, just one approach in my own thinking has been, I have a sense that even if we were to have more people on a call, it would still be intimate because of the way we hold space. And maybe not everyone would get to talk as much, but people would still, generally what happens in a call is that other people are dealing with the same kind of thing. Like a theme comes up and people are like, that's what I'm dealing with right now. You know, there's this kind of collective theme that comes up without us even planning it. It just is like what's happening to people in the moment. And even though not everybody speaks, sometimes they send us emails and like, wow, even just hearing that was really helpful. And, you know, I think that it is entirely possible that we can have more people on a call and still feel like an inclusive, intimate space. And part of me is like, honestly, part of a beta test is that, you know, you take a risk being part of that beta test group, and part of the risk is the reward of also being in a smaller intimate group, like if you test a course. And that's still, you know, that's just things that I've accepted as a business owner. I'm like, I know that's kind of the plan. I knew that's going into this, but I decided I would just figure it out when I got to this point, and now I'm like, oh shit.
Good. This is a really beautiful place to be in, because you've got something that's working that you love, that now you're ready to grow, and you're facing this. I think we all will face this conundrum at some point. Like, how do I grow it in a way that's authentic? All right, cool. So what's your intuition? What's your guidance telling you right now on this? What do you know? And what questions do you have?
Okay, I'm gonna have to say, because there's a top layer, but my fear body is like activated.
Uh-huh.
And so before I can even get to my intuition, my fear body wants to just run away, quit, get a job in the normal person world, eat chocolate brownies, and just say fuck it. Like, that's what I'm really feeling, is just kind of, I want to run away from it all. I want to run away from it all. It's like,
cool.
So
let's welcome that experience. I'm cool with that. So
it's not what I really want in my heart, but it's like what my story is.
There you go. Cool.
Yeah.
So does it feel useful to give a little attention to that?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
So do you see it? Do you feel it in your body? What is this? I want it run away and eat chocolate fear body. Where is it? What's going on?
I think it's in my gut to solar plexus, kind of like my lower body below my heart, like my belly and my lower belly and my upper belly, I guess I would say.
Lower and upper belly to your heart.
And then my mind is saying, you could be a really good marketer for some company and just fucking help them slam it out of the park.
You could.
Ugh. But I'm also like, ugh.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's not what you're choosing. So that's okay. So, yeah, thank you. Fear body. Does it have a shape or a color?
Brownies.
What did you say? Brown what?
Brownies.
Brownies.
It has a taste. It has a taste, I would say. It has a taste.
What's
and I have not eaten brownies.
It tastes of brownies too?
I think so. It's just like this comforting feeling of eating delicious, chocolatey, warm, fudgy brownies.
Does it have a texture of that too?
Texture is actually sort of like an agitated, sort of like.
Okay, like an agitated texture. Okay. And anything else you notice about it?
It's kind of like, you know what, I'll be chilling here while you go figure all that stuff out. That's kind of what it is.
Yeah, I'll be chilling. So it's, what occurs to me as you describe it, and I just want to honor it for that, is that it's kind of comforting, this idea of brownie taste, and the agitated thing may be a little uncomfortable, but there's this desire to be comforted, to have this, that I just, my boyfriend made chocolate chip cookies the other day, and I don't eat a lot of sweets, but he's been really getting into the baking, and I was eating it, and I had this experience of eating a cookie with some oat milk, and I was like, oh my God, this cookie tastes like love. And I've never thought that before, but that's what this kind of thing is. This brownie is like comfort.
Exactly. It's exactly it. And it really just wants to be comforted. And I think that's part of the wanting to go to just to have a job, is the comfort and the routine. And even what was coming up in my morning meditation were all these memories of when I was in grad school before I ever started a business or anything. And I would have a routine every day. It was great. I had this routine. I loved it. I would listen to podcasts all day. I would get in the van. I would go get a tea. I would go to my research site. I would collect my samples, and I would drive back. And it was just this very comforting routine. So there's this it's what it really wants is this comfort, and this comfort in the known, in the, and that's especially in this time of COVID, where as an entrepreneur, there's no, you're always in the unknown. And then during COVID, we're in the ultra unknown. So it's but I mean, really life is the unknown. So it's just that wanting that comfort. It's totally wanting to just be the known, safety, comfort, don't have to make a billion choices every day. Just kind of just go do the thing.
Yeah. Not a bunch of choices. So what do you notice about, it's, so this brownie, fear body brownie, that's so funny, it's so cute, has already been talking to you.
Oh yeah.
What else do you notice? What do you notice about it now? Is there something else it needs for you to hear? What else is it saying, if anything?
I feel like it's saying you know who I am. We've been here before. It's not a new thing. And it's not something that I want to make go away. It's it just shows up. And at this point, I know when this kind of thing shows up, especially the signal for me is like when I just want to quit and go get a job. Like, I'm like, because it doesn't show up that often, but when it does, I'm like, oh, there's a big change about to happen that I have to, you know.
So what do you notice? And like, let's include this brownie in this discussion too, because like, you know, we're all in this together. So brownie, listen up to all of us, right? Okay, you're being spoken to as well. So you get this signal. It's time to quit and go get a job. And then what do you know? What do you notice happens after that? It's a signal, big change is coming. And then what usually happens after that?
I mean, the immediate feeling is like, I just don't want to fuck this up. Then usually what happens is instead of quitting, I keep going. And usually that's when, I mean, I think usually I keep going and I get the answers I need and the change gets put into place and it's usually great. Or it opens up, you know, I get a new awareness around where's there something that needs attention, you know, it's just, I just keep going, you know, and it just keeps moving and I'm glad I didn't quit.
Yeah. So check in with the brownie and see if what it thinks about that. So
it's
yes.
Like thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
It's like cool. It's like, it's totally cool.
So it gets that now. It's getting it.
Mm-hmm.
So is there anything that what's happening? Has it changed? The texture, the agitation, the browniness of it, is it the same? Is it still?
No, I think that this whole part of me is just finding comfort in this, like, chilling in a corner, eating brownies and, like, doing the routine of the nostalgic memories of my routine as a grad school student in my, you know.
Yeah, so I'm wondering.
Kind of finding that comfort in those memories right now, you know.
Oh, comfort in the memories. Cool. And is there anything else that this experience would like that would be useful to help it feel more of that comfort routine in this and feeling like, okay, this is known, I'm safe here? Is there anything else that's required or that it would like to receive that maybe we could do right now?
I mean, honestly, I feel like just telling it it's okay to just be okay. It's like, it's okay to find comfort in those memories, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's getting what it needs from the memories.
Cool.
I think just me consciously giving it that permission and validation or affirmation, it's like, okay, cool. This part of me is just going to be chilling here. Yeah.
Cool.
It's not asking for anything.
Cool. Is there anything else coming up around it? I just want to check in and see if anybody else has a voice or we're, yeah.
I mean, there's the voice of me, like, freedom. Always wanting freedom and freedom to roam around, freedom to roam, and just a sense of, like, wanting freedom.
Now, is that in your body? Do you notice it as a sensation? Where is it? It seems like is it asking for our attention?
I think it's in my heart.
So that freedom in your heart, what is it saying? What's the message?
The message is, whatever change you're going through, include in it the energy of freedom.
Nice.
Yeah.
So how is that what comes up around that? And did the brownie hear that? I'm wondering.
Yeah, it's like, I like that.
Okay, cool. So everybody's on board?
Everyone's on board. Um, yeah, what was your question? Sorry, I just like got lost in the just kind of seeing the memories.
Uh-huh. That's beautiful. So we've got this freedom in your heart that says whatever change you're going through,
Mm-hmm.
include the energy of freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounded like, correct me if I'm wrong, you got a yes, like, yes, I hear you.
Yeah.
I will include the energy of freedom in this.
Yeah.
And Brownie's on board with freedom.
Yeah.
So we're including the permission to go to comfort and memories and comfort and routine and whatever it is that you need to feel safe, to feel secure, and also this energy of freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And all of this is welcome and honored here and in your choices around this change.
Yeah.
So like, can you take a moment and just check in with your body and send that knowledge to your body? Like, we're including comfort. We're including permission to receive and experience comfort through routine, and also that energy of freedom in these changes. And is there anything else that comes up as you move this awareness through your whole body? What do you notice?
I mean, the phrase "I just want to be seen" comes to mind, which is kind of a core value in our collective, by the way.
So is this something, I'm curious about it.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a part of you, an aspect, something, a voice that wants to be seen or heard, something wants to be acknowledged, or is this, what is that? Who wants to be seen? By whom?
Oh, this is funny. I think the part of me that likes structure and routine.
Where is that? Is that in your body? Where do you notice that structure?
I mean,
routine?
it keeps coming up in this memory of my grad school, getting in the van, going to get my tea, because I like used the structure and routine to also take advantage of the freedom within that. And it was cool because there was no rule that I couldn't go to my favorite coffee shop and get a tea before I went on my hour-long drive to my research farm. And then while the whole time I was always listening to podcasts, and I was listening to podcasts about how to big podcasts, how to grow online businesses. It was from that while I was doing my grad school. I had also got an education in other stuff that I'm now doing. So it's basically, I had a lot of freedom there. And even when I was at my research site, I would take an extra couple hours after I was done getting my samples and go and shoot photos at the small farm unit, which was like a bunch of apprentices on a small organic farm. And I was like, this is my freedom. And it was within the structure of a routine that I was able to do all these other things that I really loved as well. So it was very eclectic and diverse and structured just enough, but loose enough that I could have the freedom to go explore or connect or exchange or whatever, do whatever I really felt like doing in the moment within that routine.
So it kind of sounds to me, I'm getting this idea of almost like these beautiful wise experiences are kind of showing you like that you can have the structure and routine that facilitates the freedom. It's just enough structure and routine that you can really be free to do what you love.
Yeah.
And that you know how to do that. You've done it before. And would you be willing to create that within the collective and these changes you're moving into?
Yes. And part of my hesitation is saying, oh, I've always just worked with the routine that was imposed upon me. So how do I really know how to create one That's a good question.
How do you know? How do you know how to create a routine.
Because I'm just going to say, you know this of all people stuff, that
Mhm.
sometimes time becomes nebulous with me and just disappears completely. And then it's been hours and days and weeks and years, and I don't know what's been going on.
Well, that's only been an experience sometimes. You also showed
Right, true.
up on time for our conversation, and I'm assuming because it was a slam dunk that your beta test, you showed up in the right place, the right time, at least
I do. I am.
mostly, yes?
Yes. Oh, totally. Always.
And how is that? You must be. I wonder if perhaps you are creating structures and routines that you can lose yourself within.
That's true. I think you're right there. And it's true. It's like, I do that. I have created a structure and routine around my week that, you know, I know when I need certain aspects of a complete day of no appointments for this freedom, essentially, and then days of appointments. And like I've created certain flows and rhythms within running a business and running a podcast. And I show up on time and I'm there and responsible and engaged and everything.
Yeah. And I suspect that it's also allowing you within those containers to really allow yourself to get lost in the moment and lose your sense of time, which is what happens to me when I'm talking, especially with someone like you. I'm like, whoa! I look up and I'm like, 4 hours have passed. What the hell happened?
I know, right? We're like on another planet. We're like, what?
Yeah. So you're having that experience.
Mm-hmm.
Is there, like, as you check in with your body now and all of these beautiful experiences you're having within it that are welcome, right? Like, does everybody notice that you actually have created a rhythm and a flow that's just enough structure and routine that allows you to be really free and actually even have the freedom in these ways that work for you to lose yourself so you can have both?
Yeah, and I'm feeling the agitation of, oh no, what if I don't do it right? There's this like, what if I don't do it right for the collective? Like there's this kind of, that agitation really sticks out because the rest of me knows is like, yeah, you've done pretty good with that.
Where's the agitation? You're kind of pointing up, but where is it?
I know, like, let's see. It's like solar plexus-y. Like, you know.
And what is it like? Is it it has movement? It's agitated? Is it like viscous or?
They say it's like a zigzaggy, vibrating zigzag, like vertical zigzag.
Does it have a color?
Nah.
Okay, so the zigzagging vertical
black.
Vibrating black agitation. What is, if it had a voice, what would it say?
I don't want to do it wrong.
Yeah, I don't want to do it wrong.
I don't want to fuck it up. I don't want to make people, like, I don't want to impose on people. I don't want to force a structure. I don't want to, yeah.
Well, what would it like to do? What would it like? It doesn't want those things. What if it didn't have to worry about those things? I'm curious. What would it like? Just see.
What it would like is to be able to just do this without having to have money in the mix. Because at that point, it wouldn't matter if we grew it or not. We could just keep it here. But at the same time, it also loves meeting new people and the new energies that new people bring. And yeah, I mean, it likes that too, kind of like tides and the new waves coming in and new energies coming in. And just, part of my whole ulterior motive of even starting my podcast back in 2016 was I just wanted more people to hang out with. Like, I feel like I'm a professional hanger-outer. Like, I get paid to hang out, and that's pretty much my dream come true. And, like, the collective is literally I get paid to hang out, and it's awesome. And I just want more and more people to hang out with that are awesome, that I love, and that also want to hang out with other cool people. Like, that's literally my dream. And also...
that's your one-sentence business plan.
I think it is.
I hang out with cool people.
I hang out with cool people.
Mm-hmm.
I hang out. And it's true. I mean, like, I hang out with cool people on the podcast, and I share that with thousands of people every week. You know, it's like, this is my gift and my skill and my joy is hanging out with people.
So let's see. Check in with the agitation solar plexus zigzag. Did it notice the tides? Like,
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
What's happening with it? Where is it at now? Did it hear all of that?
Yeah, I mean, it just wants to like become more of a meandering, just, you know, a shape that can just kind of fly through the cosmos and just swirl and twirl.
Ooh. Would that be okay for it to swirl and twirl? Shaping
I'll say, let's give it a try. Let's let it go,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, see what happens. Swirling and twirling. What's that like?
There's part of it too, though, that's like still in that jagged vertical thing. It's like, it's kind of like, how the fuck do you expect to actually make a living getting paid to hang out, Natalie? Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Let's acknowledge that. Like, yeah, how do you? Interesting.
I'll just spit out my water. Yeah.
That's an interesting question. So what occurs to you in that? Is there something that occurs to you to ask or say or suggest there?
Let's see. Well, I mean, I kind of want to just tell, like, I already am.
Yeah.
Like, it's already happening. It's not like it's impossible. And who's to say that it can't continue happening and just show me new ways for this to be getting paid to play, like literally getting paid to play with integrity. And part of it's like, why do you need people to pay you to hang out? There's that question.
Why do you?
Well, not everyone does. I have people I hang out with for free. And
is it fun?
Definitely.
Does it create something different? Does it create something interesting and different when people pay to hang out with you versus when you hang out with other people?
Right. You know, I think when it's paid to hang out, it's let's see. Okay, there's a part of me that just wants to like hang out with everyone awesome in the world. And I can't do that one-to-one. And I actually can't even hang out with all the people I want to hang out with in my life one-to-one because it's just, I don't have the bandwidth for it. And even though it is invigorating and energizing and inspiring, it also takes up my time and energy. And I do other things besides just hang out in my life. And so my family gets to hang out with me for free. Even though I would love to, I don't know. I'm like, I would love to get paid to hang out with everybody, but that's also kind of really, it feels dirty to me. This is so funny.
Yeah, like you're a little hangout hoe, aren't you?
I'm like, I kind of am. I'm like, but here's the thing is I'm also very, very happy just doing my own thing. And like, I could just meander through the ocean and the woods and the forest and the mountains and whatever and be cool and like be hanging out with the trees. So there's a part of me that's like, oh, it costs me energy that I could be using for other things every time I hang out with someone. And even though I am rewarded by hanging out with them, it's not like it's not rewarding or anything. Especially I feel, you know, just my bandwidth for that is limited. It's just limited. It's just a part of my natural human limitation, I think.
And it sounds like you have an appreciation for a lot of different experiences. Like you have an appreciation for hanging out with people and really deeply connecting and having this community. And also you'd like to have a life where you have lots of space and you just get to be with the trees or be by yourself. And experience that too.
And at my core and heart, I'm an artist. And like, that's what I love to, you know, I'm a creator. And, you know, I think that if I didn't have to make money, I would probably just, I don't know what I would do. I would still be hanging out with people. But I'd probably be a like stoner hippie in the woods just gardening. I'm not even like a stoner now, but like if I didn't have to make money. This is going in a really weird direction, but yeah, I feel like I would probably just go like chill on my little farm in Northern California and just, I wouldn't even necessarily be a stoner, but just kind of like the lifestyle that you envision a stoner hippie having, you know, but just, it doesn't have to be drugs involved. You know, I have nothing against cannabis. And I would probably use it a few times, I would say. I do love the experience of it, but it is not something that is required. So it would be like that lifestyle, just like chilling, just like looking at the clouds and contemplating reality and like digging in the dirt and just whatever. And then like if people want to come hang out with me, they can, but I'd probably put them to work weeding my garden. Like, I don't know. But they will love it because who wouldn't love that? And if they don't love it, then they wouldn't come hang out with me.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my life. That's kind of my little,
oh, wow. So
life.
It sounds like what if you create your life and your business is a part of it, like this cool, stony, hippie, chill garden.
Yeah.
Where I'm going to come contemplate and hang out and play in the dirt, and you can come play with me, but that's what I'm doing here. I just get paid to play in my garden with integrity, by the way, because this is a garden of integrity in alignment with the earth and all of those values, right? Like where the nature spirits are welcome and all of these things, right? And you can come and hang out with me if you like that. And what we're going to do is we're going to tend to the earth. We're going to weed the garden. We're going to do some stuff here. If you don't like that, you're cool. Just go do your own thing, right?
Yeah.
Like what if that's actually this, like the spirit of this, because it's got structure in it. Like there's something you're doing. Yeah. And it's got the chilling, and it's got the space, and it's got the hanging out, and it's got the togetherness. It's got a time for all of it. Yep. I mean, I feel like that is what I'm doing in a way. There's only so, you know. Yeah. It's definitely what I'm doing. Like when we come, we have a very unstructured call. It's like it's structured, but it's very spacious and unpre-planned. And this is like, it is kind of like, hey, here's a garden for an hour and a half and come hang out. You know, we're going to all garden together with our energy. Like, that's kind of what we're doing. Yeah, and like broadening that out, this is, just to notice, you are creating that with your life. Yeah. You're doing it now, and your business is a part of that. Definitely. And this hanging out in ways where people do it for free and hanging out in ways where people pay allows you to reach more people, focus your energies, and create just enough structure that you can create a place where people can come and join and be a part of it if they choose, and it's a joy for you. Because you still have a space where you can retreat and relax and just chill by yourself. Yep. So check in a little bit and see how your body's doing. Okay. What was the swirl and twirl? Zigzag. There's like an old stoner, like inside of me, I'm like an old stoner hippie dude with like long gray hair, just like smoking a joint in the garden, like, what's up? Like, that's like my inside. Oh, probably like plays guitar and probably like, you know, just whatever, it's just tinkering around. I mean, isn't that everyone's dream to just tinker around? I don't know, maybe not. Probably not. It seems like a really cool dream. I like it. Yeah, this like old stoner hippie dude. Yeah. He just like gives zero fucks. He's like, I'm doing what I'm doing. Yeah. Cool. So there's space for him too, right? The hippie
Uh-huh.
dude, the stoner
Mhm.
hippie dude. He gives no fucks. He tinkers. He smokes. He plays guitar. He does what he wants. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
cool.
Jams out.
Yeah. Anything else that is asking for attention or has a voice there that wants to say something? Anything else you notice here? I'm wondering if, I'm kind of curious if you can get in touch with these, and I know that you're really good at this. So like these different aspects of yourself and kind of help them to be aware of each other and that you are all creating this beautiful life and business.
You know, I think that the kind of structure part of me, like of the grad school memories, kind of feels at odds with the stoner hippie dude.
Mm.
It's kind of like, oh, dude, that's too unstructured. I can't.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we are not going to survive. It's like, there's no way we're going to make it, dude.
Yeah. Well, what is one of them more willing to communicate with the other? Or do you think they could have a little conversation? Grad
Well, let's
school,
see.
stoner hippie?
I think they're into it. Yeah. Because, like, the grad school is like, there's got to be some structure here. Like, we can't just get high and play guitar and look at flowers all day.
So what would that be like if there was the freedom to be the stoner hippie and also enough structure that you know that you can be free within that? What might that be like? Would the stoner hippie be willing to explore that?
Sure. Oh, totally.
Yeah. So what's happening between them now? Like, I'm wondering if they could each notice something in the other that they can benefit from, that they could create with, that they might work together in creating this world where you get to hang out with cool people, you get paid to play, and you have tons of space, you have freedom, and you have just enough structure to be really free.
It's kind of like the stoner hippie dude wants to like take my grad school self by the hands and just like kind of shake the machine out of them or something like.
Is that okay?
There's a little resistance. There's resistance.
Well, maybe there's something else. Instead of shaking the machine out, maybe is there something gentler that the grad school student would also enjoy? I wonder.
Stoner hippie dude's like, look, we're growing vegetables. You can survive on vegetables. Look, the carrots, they're fat, they're good. They're the best carrots you're ever going to eat. It's just like, come spend time in the garden, man. Oh my God, my inner stoner hippie dude.
Well, let me ask this. Let's look at the stoner hippie dude. Is there a fence around this garden, or is there some kind of a boundary or a,
Good question.
yeah.
Never even thought of that or looked at that. Let's see. He's like, yeah, there's a fence. Mm-hmm.
So there's sort of like this sense of structure, like here's the garden. Inside the garden, we do stoner hippie things. And then, like, what might be outside the garden?
The wild, neighbors, the public.
Lots of things. Okay. So what's going on with the grad school student and the hippie now? How are they doing?
The grad school student's like, dude, it costs millions of dollars to buy something like this in Northern California. How the fuck do you think you can live here?
Good point.
Yeah.
So does the grad school student have maybe an idea or an inkling about how we could apply just enough structure and financial stability and things to create a life of this kind of abundant, amazing freedom in Northern California or wherever else? Like, can the stoner see that, wow, I could really do this for real and have the freedom to do this in conjunction with some of this, like I can make this happen for real. I'm not just high all the time and dreaming about it.
Right. The the stoner hippie dude is kind of like, what? I've been doing it. Like, who are you going to tell me that I can't because I've been doing it? He's like, wait, I'm not real?
Okay.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, what would they like to create together? I'm wondering. Would they be willing to create something together? And even if they don't know exactly what it is in this moment, would they be willing to?
I mean, it's media. It's always media. I think it's media. It's like
media.
The grad school's like, you know, you can share about your lifestyle with people and people are interested in that. And you don't even have to do all the work. You can hire people to do it and they can like help film really cool stuff, which is basically also which is basically another ulterior motive in my business is I want to make money so my artist self can go travel to these hippie stoner dudes in real life who are actually like amazing herbalist witches and living on different lands in Montana, in Maine, in Florida, in Mississippi, in California, in New Mexico, in Washington, in Spain, and whatever, you know, like in Africa, in Asia, in Europe, in Australia, Tasmania, just like that's also what I would love to be doing is just going to the people who are living this way and who are like, you know, tending the earth and have really just found another rhythm and talking to them and documenting them and experiencing their little hamlets, their little vibes and their little homesteads or apothecaries or studios and filming that and sharing it with the world and having a team and having a production crew and having like there's a like media mogul in me that wants to do this in a way that's like, but in like a very flowing way too, you know, just enough structure that we can create something and I don't have to do all the work, that I can go and just be in the vibes and kind of direct and produce the shows and also have this for myself in my own little hippie hamlet. I mean, that's ultimately, I would love to have that.
Wow. So that, I'm noticing that that's really clear and that it includes all these energies that you're already experiencing and cultivating. Like there's no lack here. It's just sort of like, okay, I'm already getting paid to play. When I have more of that money coming in, that facilitates more of these trips that allow you to do more of this hanging out with cool people and doing your art and documenting it and sharing it and hanging out with more cool people and spreading the word so that they can hang out with, you know, and find each other and facilitating this community and these people who are tending the earth, which is a very high value for yourself and your community. So all of this is actually already happening, noticing it's already happening and it's already really beautifully balancing itself out as you explore it.
Totally. I mean, I'm doing it digitally through interviews. And I did go to one person and film them and it was a dream come true last year in July. It was awesome. If anyone is listening that knows me, that's the Damiana episode and the grape channeling episode at San Diego, and it was awesome. And I was like, oh my god, this is it. Like I'm literally living this vision and dream. And it was a lot of work and a lot of money. It cost probably $1,000 to do that, and I had to do all the work myself, and it was insane. So I was like, okay, dream realized, but now we need to level it up a little bit because this ain't sustainable.
Yeah, and this is interesting, right? This very much mirrors the collective. Dream realized, and now we need to make this sustainable. It's like now we bring in the grad school student with just enough structure and an idea about some strategy here, just enough that you can be flowing. You can be this flowing media mogul, and you can bring that energy into it. And yeah, you're creating this. You are in, and this is the next area, the next opportunity to grow into it. So yeah, check in with everything again and just give a last check in and see if everybody's okay in your body, because I kind of want to start coming back.
They're all into that. They're like, yeah, that's cool. I mean, we need a crew.
Yeah.
And they need, you know, there's some sort of reciprocity and pay and thing that needs to come into this to like flow. Like there's this flow of reciprocity to flow through it all as well to make this happen. But yeah, I mean, everyone's at the hippie dude's like, yeah, totally.
Yeah, and with all of this, these amazing resources and the universe co-creating with you, I mean, this can all happen in some really aligned, beautiful ways that we can't even imagine right now.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And you're doing it with integrity, in alignment, with really clear awareness about the life that you are creating and the business that you're creating that supports and aligns with it in such a beautiful way, with these beautiful energies of both space and connection, hanging out with people and time alone, structure and freedom, stability, and also being lost in the unknown, that comfort there. All of these things are a part of it.
Totally.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, like, what do you notice now about this question of the next step for the collective?
I'm almost feeling like some almost like a sacrifice has to be made in order for the greater vision. Like, can't, I don't know, it's like this, like charge more or something, like you gotta charge more, because if you want to actually feed this vision, you need the resources to do it, and you can't do it by just giving away your time and energy. And I feel like I have to choose one or the other, intimacy or accessibility.
So let's look at that for just a moment.
Mm-hmm.
What is intimacy? Intimacy in itself, that's an interesting, choosing intimacy versus accessibility. Mm-hmm. Like you can only have one or the other. Mm-hmm. The very nature of intimacy is that it's a closeness that, what is intimacy defined? Well, you know, you do such a beautiful job of blending things that I'm wondering what would be the way to notice, to cultivate intimacy and accessibility. So my friend Sarah Taylor at the Intentional Business Coach, I had mentioned to you, I think before, she's got such a beautiful way of looking intentionally at business and life in so many areas. She talks a lot about creating, what does she call it? There's like learning from indigenous harvesting in the profit model in your money situation. So it's a 4-to-1, so that for every 4 things you harvest, you return 1 or something. I may be getting it a little wrong, but the concept is there. Sort of like what she encourages and she helps people to do is find pricing that's aligned and authentic for them and gives back. So you still need to take care of yourself first and find the profit model, but there may be a space for pro bono or scholarships. There may be a space for a sliding scale. There may be offers to reach people within the very small price point. So perhaps that's a question to sit with, because it's a high value, the intimacy and the accessibility. Like, what is that? So that there's a place where, and I know because I have spoken to so many of your listeners of your podcast and your community, they feel already that intimacy. They feel like they know you. It's the energy that you bring to the community and to the way you engage with that power with, you know, real, I'm here with you, I'm in it with you. They're getting it already for free. They get to experience that intimacy. And it's like kind of checking in and saying, okay, well, perhaps there is a place where you can open up for free once in a while and allow people in or you can create lower price points and higher price points, or you can have a sliding scale. How does that sit? What comes up for you around that?
You reminded me of another idea I had, was that maybe for every, maybe, if we charged higher, like $75 or $99 or something a month, then maybe for every 2 of those, we could offer a $33 a month as well. And it feels really complicated and a lot of like tracking and stuff, but on the back end, it'd be worth it to have that accessibility. But I'm also thinking, like, at some point we're going to be 300 people, 500 people, maybe 1,000 people. Who knows how many people will join this over time? And that's like, we're at like 20 people and we're already like, oh shit, the intimacy is going to break down as we grow. And I'm like, crap, like, this is not a scalable business.
Well, so something that occurred to me, and I'll just toss this out there to put in the mix. So I think once you've got everybody working together, you've got all of these beautiful resources, and first and foremost, your guidance and your intuition, which I know you cultivate every day and you attend to, and your willingness to experiment and try things. Like, we don't know exactly what's going to work, right?
Right.
And you're at this place of choosing the next transformation. And here are some of the things this is one thing that occurred to me, is that a way to keep the intimacy, I did this recently with a small group of people. What if you did breakouts? So that everyone gets to connect intimately with groups of like 3, maybe 2 or 3. Zoom lets you do that very easily. And even though it's not all talking to you, they have that experience of connection and intimacy, and you can do that with hundreds of people.
And that's another thing too. That's another thing that came up that I forgot. Yeah, it was, we can use breakout groups to and just create some sort of structure around that, or maybe the limit to each breakout group is 10 or 12 people, and then we all come back together and discuss in a bigger picture.
So just like this garden, I love this garden as a metaphor. The hippie stoner is like inviting people to come on in, and here's what we're doing in this garden. Here's what, if you want to hang out, great. If you don't, bless you. Wherever you want to hang out, like fun. That's cool. Yeah, go have fun there. This is how it works in this garden. So the head gardener kind of gets to determine, set the intention, and everyone's included in it. But this is what we're doing here. This is what we're creating here. And it's not authoritarian, because it's if you choose to be here, you're creating this with us in these, according to these guidelines. And we're doing something that I'm wondering, there are different ways to address this. You can't make everyone happy. It's not going to work. But what you can do is include them in what you're doing and give them the choice to either join or go have fun elsewhere. Understanding that this is what we're choosing. This is what we're creating here, and this is how it's changing, and I honor that. There are lots of ways to do that. You could honor your beta members. You could grandfather them in at a price. You could,
definitely.
Right? Like, you can do these kinds of things. There's a way to be a leader. Like, we need a leader who doesn't dominate, who listens. A leader who listens and also has the wisdom and awareness to choose for the community, to choose for the garden. It means that not every insect in the garden gets to devour all the leaves all the time.
True.
Right? Like we have an agreement, but okay, those plants over there are for you, little insect. We plant extra for you. Or, and we have this agreement. I'm kind of playing with this metaphor maybe too much. But
no, it's great. It's great.
There's a way in this, so that there's a way. The question, and I would sit with, is like, what is your way of including accessibility and also scalability and profit? Look at different models for it and just give yourself the freedom to experiment with it. You've listened to your town hall. You've included them in it so that they have a voice, and also make it clear that we're leading this thing. And I'm led by, the spirit of earth speak in the business. And, to the best of my ability, I will always take that role with the good of all concerned, the highest good, to the best of my ability. And what is intimacy here? How does that look as we evolve? I have been on calls, I have been in groups with many, many people, hundreds of people, and felt such intimate connection. There's something really beautiful that's possible, and keeping it, like all of these values, balancing them, you do it so beautifully and will continue to. So all of that was there. Yeah, what do you take from this? Like what's your biggest insight from this conversation?
Yeah, I think for one, it's really helpful to return to that bigger picture of the media mogul, and not mogul for the sake of being mogul, but just because there's such a bigness to this energy that's calling to me. It's a calling I'm answering and has been answering. And I first saw this calling when I was in high school and had no idea what it even meant. It's an energy I've been responding to for decades now. And like 2 decades. And I think keeping that bigger picture in mind, and the integrated gardener hippie dude with the grad student director, who is actually, I think that grad student director is actually more of like a movie, TV show for film producer director type energy of there's a structure to a show, but there's still a lot of creative freedom in it, and it's an offering to the world, but we get paid for it, and this kind of that allows this kind of free flowing garden to happen. Feels really good. And I think part of it too is just the acceptance of leadership isn't easy. Leadership is a bold unknown. Leadership is it inherently involves difficult choices like this, that you can't make everyone happy, and you can't, there is no right or wrong too. There's no inherent right or wrong. And just acceptance that the path I've chosen, or that has chosen me, or whatever, is just the energy of leadership. And I think kind of some of that is just accepting what comes with leadership, honestly. And I think too, I hear I'm really scared of disappointing people, especially people who I value and cherish. And even just saying that brings up a frog in my throat,
Mm-hmm.
I love my community and my little beta test group. And I think that I have to honor and acknowledge that I don't want to disappoint them, and also trust that the choices that I make and that Shauna, my co-founder, makes are going to be held within a way that even if someone is disappointed, that we're ultimately bringing in a greater power and potential and possibility for the collective, because it is a collective. And I think there's ways around it. I think there's ways around the I think it was really helpful to hear you mirror back some things that I had thought of and had forgotten that I had thought of too, especially around breakout groups and maybe offering higher price point, but then having a few slots for lower price points, and just figuring out ways to make it work. And I just feel as a trailblazer too, sometimes you just gotta just do it.
Mm-hmm.
So those are my my feedback, I guess, my reflection. And I feel more encouraged and confident to just go and really keep playing with the pieces. It feels like a big, it's all these little puzzle pieces, and I'm just kind of moving around. Does this fit here? Does this fit here? Does this fit here? And now that I feel like our conversation gave me, in a puzzle, you have a picture of the finished piece on the top of the box,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I had forgotten to look at that piece of that picture of the box, of that big, what are all these puzzle pieces adding up to? And I had forgotten to look at that and see that bigger picture of that vision that's been guiding me and has, you know, is in place already, and how that's intertwined with the collective as well.
You know, that also, what if you inspire the members of your collective with that bigger picture vision and what it means in the world? They've already aligned with it. Remind them that's why this thing desires growth. That's why you're in it in the first place. Like, what is that? It's all about really creating a community and also reconnecting with the earth and the people, like all of those things that they're in there for in the first place. That's the big vision. Enroll them in that. I mean, that's what we need you to be the leader for. That's the cause that you're leading, that gets them on board, even if there are things about it that they wish were different. They're trusting. They're following in your vision because they want to create that world with you.
And create that, you know, this is like I feel like a vessel for bringing this, just like bringing greater connection to these. You know, I might not be the farmer in the field. I might not be the herbalist. I might not be those people, but I am in that energy of it, and I am weaving them together in a way that the energy that we all individually and collectively embody as keepers of the earth and as people who are sensitive and aware to a bigger picture than the machine, you know, that we can actually bring that into everyday life in a bigger way that honors the earth and honors the people and honors life and honors spirit and honors the individuality of each person, yet the beauty of our coming together, and, you know, doing it in a way that honors our freedom too, our individual freedom, and inspires. I think a really big part of it too is that through sharing the stories of these people who are living this way, and through sharing, you know, even on the podcast, just through audio, but then sharing through video and pictures and images, it inoculates people who are listening and watching with new possibilities of what they can live their lives as too. And maybe it speaks to the little part of them that's been asking for this, but they had no idea what it looked like or how it was possible. And now it awakens a new potential for them and changes them from being products of the machine to being keepers of the earth. That's it. Like, I'm like really feel like a renegade army leader, but not in a way of like battle. It's like actually in a way of like we're taking over because this is the way it always was and always will be, is we're keepers of the earth and we can do this. Like, we don't want to do the machine anymore. We don't want to do that, and we're not going to fight you for it. We're just going to create the new, and anyone who wants to join can get in on it. We're not battling here. You can go play your silly battles over there and just whatever. You know?
Come play in our garden with us. You're invited. And this is what we're choosing. And like, I just wonder what would happen if you really clearly made the call to your collective and your community members and said, hey guys, rally around. This is what we're creating here. We're the keepers of the earth, and we are reminding the world that that's what we truly are and have always been, and that there's another way. And that come join us here. And as a part of our vision, we're growing this thing. And I pray, I hope, my wish for you is that if this is aligned, that you grow with us and that you be a part of this movement. That you help me take this to the people it's meant for so that we can change the world and bring this back. And see. I'm in.
I mean, it makes me want to cry. I love it. It's like, that's just it. That's it. And I think that our collective people would be totally in that too. I mean, I think anyone who's in my
reminding them, it's not about this little collective we're creating. It's about a mission that's much, much bigger. And we need to grow into that. We are growing into that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're all answering the call, and I've just stepped up as someone who's willing to create space for us to answer the call together. That's it. It's not about me. It's about we're answering the call of the earth and spirit that runs through us.
Beautiful. Wow. Thank you, Natalie. I think
Thank
that
you.
what comes up for me is that, just to close with this, I think, if it's okay, this
Yeah, please.
reflection of you, like, you're I feel so inspired by your willingness to be vulnerable and real and create a community where people can do that and also hold so true to what you believe in and step into that leadership role even when it's uncomfortable. And just being aware that, yeah, this feels uncomfortable and there's a bigger vision I'm creating here. And let's do it. Let's create it. And doing it with grace as much as possible and play, which I love about you, and all these, it's so inspiring and lovely. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Steph. And thank you for your guiding me through this space. Yeah, the word I feel is integrated. And that's where your power is, when you can feel integrated in these parts that we're at odds with one another.
Yeah.
So thank you.
You're welcome. And just a last little note, they can find you. Where can people connect with you if they'd like to find you again?
Yeah, totally. I have a podcast. It goes out every week. It's called Earth Speak, and you can look on any podcast app, Earth Speak, and you'll tell it's the one because there's all these psychedelic mushrooms and stuff on it. It's really cool. We are far out, but down to earth. And you can go to earthspeak.love and learn more about us and see if you want to become part of the collective too. It's open to join. It's we've got a lot there, so you can go check out earthspeak.love, and we're on Instagram at earthspeak. So pretty much just look up Earthspeak anywhere you go, and if we have a place there, that's what we'll be named as. So come find us.
Beautiful. Thank you, Natalie.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, thanks for joining me for today's Wildspire conversation. If you'd like to receive a weekly Wild Creation email from me filled with more inspiring stories, marketing experiments, playful questions, new podcast episodes, videos and freebies, and anything else I'm playing with, go to theawakenedbusiness.com/wild creation. Until next time, may you know yourself as the gorgeous wild creation you are.